Gentlemen and female gentlemen, breasticles and testicles of all ages, welcome to another lore dive. As you know, I, Lord Nuxanor, will be consuming all of the lore. Monster Hunter lore, they've canceled me for that, saying that how dare I invade their community. They've canceled me for reacting to Game of Thrones. They've canceled me for reacting to Five Nights at Freddy's. They've canceled me for trying to do Lord of the Rings lore. But unfortunately, I will consume all lore, no matter how many people hate me for being too based invading their precious communities. So, this is what brings us to today. I have been highly requested to dive into the Alien cinematic timeline and do Xenomorph lore, and I know nothing about any of it. We're diving blind into it. If this gets 10,000 likes, I will be doing a deep dive into the lore of every known Xenomorph. Thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate you. And if you want to consume all lore, consider subscribing. We're here at the epicenter of chaos. We are putting our penises in every single community we can find. That sounded wrong, but the point is, we make fun of idiots on this channel if you're new here. Let's see what we're all about. Alien lore. Let's do it, baby.
A lot of important things happened in 1979.
All right, no, nothing happened in 1979, actually. All right, Nerdist, take us down the timeline. I will not make any reference to the big black dildo behind you. I will make believe that doesn't exist. I will make believe we're not even thinking about the giant black dildo in your background.
The Seattle Supersonics won their first and only NBA championship.
No offense to them, but that's not a big deal.
The despotic Ugandan president, Idi Amin, was deposed.
I've never even heard of him.
Fleetwood Mac released their second, horniest album of all time, Tusk, and the science fiction horror thriller Alien.
You're gonna talk about other people releasing horny albums while you have this fucking monster cock behind you? You're really gonna sit here and tell me about important things that happened when you're just casually rocking that? All right, historical events in 1979. Apparently, nothing happened, it says here.
Science fiction horror thriller Alien landed in theaters on May 25th.
Alien, coming this summer to a theater near you.
The little movie that would go on to become a surprise box office success.
Right. And true, massive box office success. It actually recently saw a resurgence recently with the rise of book talk and Twitter women getting incredibly horny. Now, you probably don't think one has to do with the other, but I will in fact be here to let you know that this is incorrect. You see, ever since Barnes & Nobles added the monster section to the Barnes & Nobles, as you can see here, okay, hear me out section in the Barnes & Nobles with the little women and the monster women out there. Now that the Dragon's Bride and Titan and Me and Mothman have really started taking off, female gooners have recently made a massive resurgence, and xenomorphs are coincidentally becoming very popular.
And would spawn a cinematic universe featuring 5 canonical films, a few crossovers, more than 24.
Yeah, the Predator crossover. I remember that was a thing. I never actually watched any of the Alien movies.
Video games, a library's worth of comics and novels, odd toy lines,
Drake, Ripley, 8-Bone,
one weird theme park ride that wasn't
wild.
directed by James Cameron.
What happened to A-Squad, soldier?
And some of the most iconic moments in cinematic history. It's a franchise with so many different creative minds behind all of its films that it's evolved into one of the most varied universes visually, emotionally, and allegorically. The horrors of space, the horrors of sexual violence, the horrors of capitalism, the horrors of working with—
Holy shit.
The horrors of space, the horrors of sexual violence.
I have seen this shit on a fucking MXR Plays thumbnail. Oh my god, I'm just thinking of this right now. Hold on. Dude, their channel got banned. I'm never gonna find it. I can't believe their channel got banned.
Violence, the horrors of capitalism, the horrors of working with Hollywood studios, and of course the harrowing silence of God that is so loud you make 2 whole movies about it. And outside all of that, they're movies about groups of boneheads and milk robots sticking their faces into space eggs and getting picked off by the most terrifying movie monster ever.
Bro, tentacle monsters aren't given a good reputation.
Which is fun for everybody. With all those movies, books, video games, the eventual release of Alien Romulus in 2024, and Noah Hawley's upcoming Alien—
Apparently Alien Romulus was really good.
TV series, you're probably wondering how massive the timeline of the Alien universe is. Just gonna assume you are since you clicked on this video, or you left autoplay on and this was next. Either way, thank you. We're gonna break down the expansive timeline that stretches across the 6 main films and fill in some spots with help from some of the comics, novels, shorts, and special features. We'll also be touching on some of the non-canonical films and media that aren't officially a part of the timeline, but it would feel wrong not to include them in this video.
I am here for it. Let's freaking go, baby! Let's go! All right, this is the lore dive. We've all been waiting for it. We just did the Tolkien lore, okay? We just dove into the timeline of Middle-earth. Ain't no way this is gonna be more convoluted than that.
A f***ing alien.
And we'll dip a bit into the history behind some of the productions, the themes of the films.
Is he gonna get into like the Rule 34 deep dive as well? Because I don't know. Ever since Alien Romulus has come out, I have seen interesting posts on Twitter involving a lot of barking and a lot of meowing.
And how both possibly play into the overall lore of the franchise. Our sources for this video are the films themselves: Alien, Aliens, Alien Cubed, Alien Resurrection, Prometheus and Covenant, the special features, deleted scenes, and commentaries found across multiple versions of DVDs, the quadrilogy, of course, specific comic book arcs.
Fucking god, there's so much content. Holy shit, I had no idea there was this much content.
The Xenopedia Wiki, and the 2014 book, The Weyland-Yutani Report by author S.D. Perry. To keep this video as streamlined as possible, we're focusing on the timeline events that correspond the most with the films and the main characters: Ellen Ripley, Elizabeth Shaw, David, and Weyland-Yutani, the ever-present evil company throughout the films.
Wait, the main bad guy in the Alien movie isn't the aliens, it's the capitalist overlords?
Shaw, David, and Weyland-Yutani, the ever-present evil company.
Building better worlds. Oh my god, what? Alien, the movie about these human-eating giant alien space monsters. And the main bad guy is the fucking capitalist megacorp. Bro, this is just Helldivers all over again. Why is capitalism always the villain? Oh my god, every time.
I work for the company, but don't let that fool you. I'm really an okay guy.
Like I said,
I'm a CEO capitalist, but really I'm an okay guy. I give money to charity. Yes, I hired a couple of pedophiles over my day. Yes, I committed war crimes, but it was consensual war crimes.
a minute ago, there's a lot of Alien novels out there, and they're all like 300 plus pages long, and I'm being very upfront with all of you and saying that I did not read any of them. I just don't have the time. If I was going to include all of them in this timeline, the video would be much longer than the 43 minutes it is now.
Nice, that was well done.
Thankfully, the internet can be helpful sometimes, especially with cliff notes, so certain books and dates that connect to the events and characters in the films will be included. Books like Out of the Shadows and
Alright, let's go. Holy shit, look at this art.
River of Pain will be touched on in—
Bro, it's like there are two types of people in this world. There are men that want a cute anime fox girl that will pat your head when you lay on their lap and say they love you. And then there are women who want to fuck Venom. Okay? Listen, these are the two types of gooners on the internet.
in some way, but books like Aliens Criminal Enterprise or Aliens DNA
I didn't know there was so much content! Xenomorphs is that huge?
War
Apparently there's Xenomorph Marvel crossovers? What?
won't make the cut. If you're a scholar of the Alien novels, please feel free to educate me in the comments on whatever I may have missed.
Yeah, and educate me on which more lore deep dives I have to get into.
Also, we won't be mentioning the Alien anthology shorts that were released in 2018. They're cool and there's some fun ideas in some of them, but they have no connection to this timeline whatsoever.
Okay.
It's gonna be a long one.
Easy! That's how you kill aliens. You just step on them like cockroaches.
So pour yourself a drink, strap up your Reeboks, and by the end of this video, maybe we'll figure out whatever the hell this is.
Nani? Brother, that's a glory hole. Can you please stop it? Bro's just sitting in an assortment of alien teched out sex toys. I wonder what this is.
Neat. The first mark on our timeline is one we can't put a hard date on or even tell you which planet it actually occurred on. The opening of the 2012 film Prometheus shows a tall, pale, and completely smooth alien being standing alone on a mysterious world
Look how
atop a waterfall.
smooth and alien and white he is. God, if I know anything about fiction, I know that white guys are always the good guys.
That looks a lot like the Dettifoss in Iceland, but the time and planet are never confirmed. I'm gonna go ahead and call these aliens the engineers right now, even though we know that they don't get that designation.
Bro. This is handsome Squidward. Holy shit. The creator of all life is handsome Squidward?
Go ahead and call
That's engineer. All right. I don't understand. How does my chat know the lore of everything I do a lore dive into? My chat's like, oh, that's engineer, obviously. Wait, so this is before humanity? I didn't realize the timeline went that far back. I thought it was about humanity's exploration. But again, I'm a fucking noob here. I don't know anything about the alien timeline.
all these aliens the engineers right now, even though we know that they don't get that designation until Elizabeth Shaw and Charlie Holloway of the Prometheus crew give it to them way later in the timeline, which we'll get to.
We call them engineers.
And I know they have different names and titles from different media like the Oceans, the Malakak, and Space Jockeys, but we're gonna go with engineers.
Alakak. Eyes slowly drift to the big black thing behind him.
The engineer downs some evil-looking chia seeds and is
What the fuck is caviar is that?
quickly eaten from the inside by an aggressive black goo, which we're not really going to dig into. The
Venom. Always venom, eating malacock all the time.
Pathogen, also known as this, has its own mythology and science and confusing properties.
Don't put your dick in that.
That we don't have the time to really get into the minutia of. I'm sure someone has a video somewhere on YouTube that breaks down the whole Xenomorph life cycle if you want it. The engineer melts into the water below, spreading the bizarre DNA he just ingested across the planet, like passing out in a hot tub while you're drinking a daiquiri. We gotta mention the alternate opening of this movie where there's actually an audience of engineers viewing that one poor bastard who slams back the goop. The theatrical version we got feels more like a conscious decision by this being to seed this world with
Interesting. So these are two alternate timelines. Is this that we just were unaware of what happened? These are two speculative histories, or is it just like a contradiction in the timeline? Because it really seems like you have either they meant to plant this genetic alien DNA venom shit, whatever it is, I have no idea what it's supposed to be, into the planet, or this one isn't canon. Oh, so this is the deleted scene. So the actual canon is handsome Squidward ate venom chia seeds, fell into the ocean, accidentally planted this life form into the universe. And this isn't planet Earth, from what I'm understanding.
Theatrical version we got feels more like a conscious decision by this being to seed this world with his DNA, whereas
I've seen an episode of Rick and Morty where he seeded a world with his DNA, but that involved Rick having sex with the Earth.
the alternate opening feels more sacrificial or even more like a punishment, but we'll touch on that a bit later. Next, we're jumping all the way to the Bronze Age on the Isle of Skye in Scotland, 35,000 years before Elizabeth Shaw discovers some cave paintings.
Did you date it?
35,000 years, maybe.
Oh, shit! Okay.
This is around the time in human history where the earliest evidence of humanoids living in Ireland first sprung up.
Oh, let's go. They tie it into actual Earth lore. I'm not gonna lie, the world building of planet Earth is it's B tier.
And approximately 1,000 or so years before the last glacial maximum. During this really unpleasant time to be alive, an unknown number of engineers visited prehistoric peoples and imparted either wisdom or warning about those big glowy things in the night sky.
Or seed. Wait, I'm so confused. So this is the alien, right? This is supposed to be a representation of the engineer. And it's some sort of warning as to something that's coming? Wait, so did the engineers create life on Earth? Or did they just kind of skibbity toilet around the galaxy doing their own shit?
Things are quiet for a bit until around 90 CE, when the engineers made themselves a little bunker on the—
They did create life on Earth, according to Chad. Interesting. So most of biologic life as we know it is these alien gods that kind of went around skibbity toileting life all over the galaxy.
Moon that's designated LV-223. There they started to initiate a plan to wipe out humanity for reasons that we will get to later. The team of bald lurches screwed up and lost control of the deadly syrup, which wiped out most of the engineers on LV-223, except for a few who locked themselves away in their spaceship and slipped into their sleep sarcophaguses.
Bro, wait, so they create life on Earth, everything's hunky-dory, then they decide to wipe out life on Earth.
3, except for a few who locked themselves away in their spaceship
and then they Necron up, like the fucking Warhammer lore, when they Necron themselves away to show up in some unspecified amount of time. But humanity was a disappointment. They saw women on Book Talk getting all freaking horny, talking about goddamn xenomorphs, and they were like, yeah, we fucked up, let's go back. That's amazing. That's actually funny. They saw a Nux Taku thumbnail and they were like, all right, we go back.
And slipped into their sleep sarcophagi. And that's where we're leaving the engineers for a good long while. This is the part of the timeline that doesn't technically fit into the full Alien timeline, mostly due to specific films being owned by different studios at the time of production.
Yes, the classic collaboration that doesn't fit in the timeline, but it's just fucking cool, so who cares?
But it would feel wrong to not mention the tangentially related movies and events that interact with the Alien franchise.
Not again!
Wait, this was Spaceballs! Hold up! Spaceballs, not canon, unfortunately.
Sorry to the Batman/Aliens comic, you did not make the cut.
Nope. We have to look into these crossovers.
First stop in this section is in the film Alien vs. Predator, thousands of years ago, with no real date to go off of.
And then the Predator saw the alien and did, or whatever fucking clicking sound it makes.
Ancient civilizations were visited and ruled over by the Yautja. Yautja. Unique New York. The Yautja are an alien species from the planet Yautja Prime and are more commonly known as—
Yautja sounds like the name of a food that is way too healthy to actually taste good, in my opinion.
predators.
Well, we took a vote. Predators cooler, right? Yeah.
The whole ancient aliens angle with predators making sacrificial temples full of xenomorphs is kind of silly, so we're not really going to spend a lot of time on it. We spring ahead to the Great Plains all the way in 1719, where we meet Naru, her brother, and a whole mess of French fur trappers who have the terrible luck of crossing paths with this big guy.
Yeah, but it's okay. They're French, whatever. Oh, God! Oh, Lord! Well, he got cooked. It's over. Goodbye, goodbye.
The feral predator is eventually outsmarted by Naru, who returns to her people carrying her trophy and a flintlock pistol she was given by a trapper, which is inscribed Raphael Andolini, 1715. This retcons a very esoteric bit of predator history, which we'll get to in just a
God damn. Every time there's a crossover, it's obviously just for the cool factor, the wow factor. That's why, on the one hand, I love crossovers because it's so cool to see different franchises interacting with each other. But on the other hand, like, it doesn't really fit well into the canon of either franchise, and it just kind of fucks both of them. I know this is a very hot take, but I don't like crossovers.
A second. The fate of Naru and the Comanche is left slightly ambiguous to anyone who hasn't read a history book, but foreign invaders rarely bring peace. Next, we get a small glimpse at an encounter between a predator and a xenomorph at a whaling station in Antarctica in 1901, and then we jump 86 years to when two future American governors and their band of mercenaries are sent to an unspecified Central American
It's the meme! Oh my God, it's the meme!
country to rescue a head of
Dude, I have watched like classic films purely through memes. Nux Predator lore when? 10,000 likes and we'll do Predator lore, okay? All right, we're focusing on Xenomorphs first. 10,000 likes, I will do Predator lore, goddammit.
state, but it turns out to be a shadow operation run by the CIA, which is very unlike them. Dutch, Billy, Mac, Dylan, Shane Black, and the rest of the fellows cross
Bro, is Shane Black the black guy? That's just wrong. They have to stop doing that.
paths with a predator
It's me, Walter White, and it's me, Shane Black, and then they collab. That's messed up, bro.
that landed in the jungle just before they got there and has been having a blast just skinning Green Berets. Other than being the original Predator film, it doesn't connect too much to the timeline aside.
You want to see one of my favorite Predator films, actually, of all time? Like, I know this is a little bit tangential, but it's worth it. You watch me for the tangents. You watch me for the yappering, okay? That's why we're here. It's for the yapping and the yapping only. Okay, let me see if I can find this.
This is a real prison, and me and the boys are gonna try to survive the next 50 hours.
Did I just ruin my own joke by accident? No, I didn't ruin the joke. I didn't ruin the joke. We're fine. We're fine. I didn't ruin the joke. The joke's still alive.
I don't think it's...
The joke's still alive, guys. Okay, guys. This is my favorite Predator video of all time. This is goated Predator content. This is the best Predator content I've ever seen. Damn, look at the Predator. The Predator timeline is crazy. Okay, all right, I ruined that joke by playing it on the other monitor. Whatever!
From giving us a bridge to Predator 2 and a buttload of great quotes.
Yeah! Stick around.
That's classic Arnold. Classic Arnold!
Bleeding, man. I ain't got time to bleed.
In 1997, we then jump from the actual jungle to the concrete jungle, Los Angeles.
My favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger line was when he was Mr. Freeze in Batman. Then he looked at Batman and said, "Freeze!" That was the best line he's ever. When he said that, I was like, holy shit.
More like 6 or 7 concrete jungles that are 20 minutes away from each other. LAPD Lieutenant Mike Harrigan is in the middle of a turf war between feuding drug cartels during an intense heat wave, and that's on top of everyone already having Con Air fever at the movies that summer. Good summer for movies, 1997.
Yeah! We do not get movies like this anymore. Damn. Every time I get like a look back into the past, to think that some of these movies are still iconic, like especially, you know, Men in Black, Austin Powers, fucking iconic movies. But even other stuff like Liar Liar, Face Off, like I remember these movies. The Fifth Element, like these are relatively iconic movies. What do we get now? We get The Acolyte, Borderlands, you get fucking Madam Web.
Great. To make things worse, a predator gets in the mix, wreaks some havoc, kills some drug lords, and cuts Gary Busey in half.
Space! God, I wish he'd split me like he's... All right, never mind.
What's he holding on to? Show it again. What's he holding on to? There's no top half. The character that Gary Busey is playing was originally supposed...
Average Mr. Beast video. Today we took 6 predators and 10 children and put them in the same room.
To be
We've given them buzzsaws.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's Dutch, but he declined. Long story short, Harrigan finds himself aboard a Predator spaceship complete with a trophy case of different skulls, one of them clearly in the shape of a Xenomorph skull, which is the first crossover nod between...
Yo! That is so cool! Technically earlier in the timeline if it's canon. Very cool.
And the two French.
That's a great Easter egg. God damn.
Franchises on screen. I know about the comic, we're not talking about that. Harrigan is rewarded for his victory with the same flintlock pistol that Naru got in 1719, which retcons the lore of that pistol altogether. Raphael Andolini was originally a character that
he had 2 pistols.
Appeared only once in the 1996 Dark Horse comic short story, Predator 1718. In the comic, Andolini is an Italian pirate whose crew turns on him when he decides to return a lost treasure to the Catholic Church. Undo that. His rightfully mutinous crew is defeated by Andolini and the Predator named Greyback, who we see at the end of Predator 2. Andolini would die during this combat, but he gives the Big Ugly a flintlock pistol as a thank you back in 1718.
Nice.
From the year 1997, we skip all the way to the year 2004 and the Tobias Anderson movie, Alien vs. Predator.
Right.
Now, despite
So that's all the Predator crossover shit. See, whenever I see crossovers, I immediately, in my brain, it just marks them as not canon. Maybe I'm wrong for doing that, but I just feel like it's always about the hype of the collaboration so much more than it is about the actual story. Like, they are cash grabs. They're sometimes fun cash grabs, don't get me wrong, but ultimately they are cash grabs. I feel like the only time you have a collaboration that works is when they obviously were canon in each other's storylines in movies that aren't the collaboration, like Deadpool and Wolverine. Wolverine was a character in Deadpool's universe, and Deadpool was a character in Wolverine's universe before. Even if they didn't necessarily interact, when they made Wolverine and Deadpool, it definitely made sense.
All the things in Alien vs. Predator that makes it feel tied to the Alien.
The only collab that is actually accurate is that Peter Griffin is the one that destroyed the Death Star in Star Wars lore. This is a real thing that happened. Stewie was Darth Vader.
In franchise, it doesn't actually hold any canonical weight. The motivation behind AVP originally came about in the early 90s following the release of the Alien vs. Predator comic in 1989. James Cameron and Ridley Scott had actually considered working on a 5th Alien film together, but when Fox started pushing the AVP of it all, both Cameron and Scott lost interest, and Ridley would eventually turn his initial idea into the movie Prometheus years later.
God damn. So Prometheus was supposed to be a Predator Alien crossover again. All right, interesting.
In Alien vs. Predator, in October 2004, Weyland Industries discovers a massive temple 2,000 feet below the ice of Antarctica. This is where we get our first non-canonical appearance of Charles Bishop Weyland, played by Lance Henriksen. This is the only time we see this character. Technically, there is like, you'll see. The dying CB dubs.
He's hyping us up. He's hyping us up like people watch lore videos and stuff they've never seen before, like they're me. Imagine watching a lore video. Cringe. But yeah, listen, I have the lore tier list. I need to consume all lore. All lore will be consumed, okay? We did Monster Hunter, we did Warhammer. All lore shall be consumed, okay?
Assembles a
We're gonna continue diving deeper into all this stuff too.
Team to go investigate the massive discovery in hopes of cementing his legacy.
Let's make history.
And things go about as good as you'd expect if you travel 2,000 feet down into a murder temple.
Yeah. Yikes!
And that's more or less where the Alien franchise ends, at least film-wise. In the 2010 film Predator,
Just your average Hollywood executive's basement.
connection to the
Just goop flying everywhere and unwilling suspects never leaving fully whole.
Alien franchise ends, at least film-wise. In the 2010 film Predators, Isabel does mention the 1987 team, Dutch, Dylan, etc., but that's about it.
6 men plus a CIA liaison. Only one made it out.
And supposedly there's a Xenomorph / Predator hybrid in Alien vs. Predator Requiem, but it's hard to talk about that movie since it's lit by like one iPhone flashlight.
Yeah, I'm excited to do the deep dive into all of the different Xenomorphs as well.
Our final stop in this section of the timeline lands us in Los Angeles in 2019. In the 1982 Ridley Scott movie Blade Runner, there's a bushel of references and connections that tie the Blade Runner universe to the Alien universe.
Oh my god. See, but those are Easter eggs. That's not canon. Get out of here.
Not officially, of course. There's major similarities of the tech we see in Blade Runner, even down to the purge screen we see in Goff's car, which is the exact same screen Ripley gets when she's prepping Narcissus at the end of Alien.
Okay, again, these are references. It's not a canonical timeline. All right, I need to understand the full timeline for the lore dive, okay? Not all the references and Easter eggs. That's a whole other video for a whole other day, okay? I need to put it on the freaking lore tier list at some point.
On the 20th anniversary DVD of Alien, the special features titled The Nostromo Dossier highlights details about the Nostromo crew, including a small note that Captain Arthur Dallas was at one point employed as a cargo ship pilot for the Tyrell Corporation. On the special features of the UK Steelbook of Prometheus, there are journal entries from Peter Weyland, the founder and godhead of Weyland-Yutani. In the
the bad guys. The bad dude. The fucking capitalist company that for some reason is the bad guy. How are they the bad guys? He started off this video saying that it's the evil capitalist overlords that are the bad guys. Wait a second. I thought the bad guy was the freaking handsome Squidwards that wanted to literally blow up life on planet Earth. How are they not the bad guys?
These notes, Weyland reflects on his long-departed mentor, who had once tried to convince Peter to come work for him so they could take over the world and become new gods.
That doesn't sound good at all! That sounds awful. No! Wait, what do you mean? Do you actually mean seriously that there's gonna be some big fucking insanely rich people that want to be treated like gods by the little people? No.
This is
yes, human hubris, the true main enemy of every story.
It's like run-of-the-mill CEO talk. Peter Weyland also writes
your average CEO. This is just, you replace this guy with Mr. Beast, who'd be the same shit.
That this nameless mentor of his used to run his corporation, quote,
like a god on top of a pyramid overlooking a city of angels. Of course, he chose to replicate the power of creation in an unoriginal way by simply copying God. And look how that turned out for the poor bastard. Literally blew up on the old man's face. I always suggested he stick with simple robotics instead of those genetic abominations he enslaved and sold off-world.
Oh my, wait, whoa. This Yutani company was trafficking alien slaves? Oh, shit.
Although his idea to implant them with false memories was, well, amusing is how I would put it politely.
Next Mr. Beast video. Today I captured 100 aliens, sold them into slavery, and gave them false memories. And they're gonna go up against 100 pedophiles. What the fuck is going on?
The entry continues with Weyland basically taking a victory lap about how much better their robotics division is than Tyrell after they figured out milk blood technology.
Yeah.
Okay, I did that last part. Tyrell's name never gets officially dropped in the journal entry, but it feels pretty obvious who Weyland is talking about here. An
The Blade Runner reference, ultimately.
egomaniacal man who lives atop a shining temple overlooking a city of titular lost angels whose attempts at playing God blow up in his face, along with his eyeballs. There's also a comment from this mentor for Weyland to put away childish things, which could be Tyrell making
classic CEO talk. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understand as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things.
a connection to Paul's first letter to Corinthians, because once again, God.
Nothing the god of biomechanics wouldn't let you in heaven.
And this dude actually joined the Adeptus Mechanicus and tried to become a god. This is like the classic human hubris CEO grind set, and it's so fucking sad. It's like, oh, haha, this guy's a classic supervillain. Look at him trying to become a god. Then you realize that this is just 90% of big CEOs that want to fucking do this shit.
And it's very likely Tyrell's use of the word toys was a jab at genetic designer J.F. Sebastian, who created friends like Bear and Kaiser.
They're my friends. I made them.
And probably the most obvious thing connecting these franchises together is from Ridley Scott himself.
I went through an alien into the environment of the Nostromo and people living with close proximity with people who still have earthbound connections. And here we have people on Earth. So almost this world could easily be the city that supports the crew that go out alien. In other words, when the alien crew comes back in, they might go into this place and go into a bar just off the street near where Deckard lives.
Yeah, well, that almost undoubtedly connects the universes, right?
That's how I thought about that.
Shit.
And while Ridley said it could be an easy way to solidify the validity of these connections, the studio rights to these films at the time they were made is a big canonical hurdle to get over. But here in 2023, both Alien and Predator are owned by the same mega huge conglomerate.
Let's go! This is the supervillain of real life! These are the supervillains of real life! Yes, we finally made it to a point where all the different products are all owned by the same guys. Again, the guys, Disney, that's buying everything is somehow, they are the main villains of this movie.
And that's always a good thing, right?
Yeah, monopolies are great. I love monopolies. My favorite thing about monopolies is how monopolized it is. And I'm sure they'll keep working to make everything better. All right, let's go.
One of the veins running through the entire Alien universe is the ever-omnipotent avatar of capitalism that is Weyland-Yutani and its founder, Peter Weyland.
And if you'll indulge me, I'd like to change the world.
Just to reiterate, Great, we're sticking to the movie canon, which is already a lot. So we're gonna do a quick Weyland bio.
Holy shit, that man's face is a testicle.
On our road up to Prometheus. We're currently in our pre-Metheus era. Peter Weyland was born in Mumbai, India in 1990 to wealthy parents. His mother was a professor of comparative mythology, and his dad was a self-taught software engineer. Nice. Peter Weyland was a prodigy who received a method patent for his synthetic trachea that he constructed entirely out of synthetically engineered stem cells. Typical Libra shit. This would actually be his 12th registered patent to date, and on October 11th in 2012, the Weyland Corporation was formed when he was only 22.
God
on March
damn, bro, this is actual Zuckerberg shit. Oh my god.
27th of 2015, Weyland made his first $1 billion and his first successful industrialized space mission.
Is there anyone that's... I'm asking this, not throwing jabs at anybody, I'm just asking this. Is there anyone that hit $1 billion through ethical means? Anyone alive? Is it possible? Like, I just want to know if it's like actually possible. Because like $1 billion is a lot of money. Did anyone actually get there ethically? Aside from Seto fucking Kaiba or inheriting it? Like, I'm just wondering, is it even possible?
Thanks to renewable energy collected by his company's solar panels, Weyland also helps curb global warming in 2016 thanks to developing a synthetic atmosphere that's put above the polar ice caps. He gets knighted in 2017, and that's...
Of course he's knighted. Probably because he's such a good guy. Either that or because he's rich. One or the other.
Same year acquires the rights to NASA's Project Prometheus after funding for the project fell through. Now, NASA had never had a Project Prometheus, at least as far as the public knows, but the Jupiter Icy Moon Orbiter was for sure real. I keep reading that as juicy ass moon orbiter.
Understandable. Understandable.
NASA, the JIMO project was an unmanned shuttle with nuclear propulsion that was designed to explore the icy moons of Jupiter, which may contain life, just like in 2010, the year we made contact.
Hey, cute.
Movie that everyone has seen.
What's gonna happen? Something wonderful.
Unfortunately, funding for this project fell through in 2005 after NASA shifted back to manned missions. We'll keep checking back in with Weyland and his company throughout this entire timeline, but right now...
Dude, I can't believe that the main villain in Alien is this fucking super CEO that wants to become a god and he starts slave trafficking aliens. Or whatever the fuck happens. Like, this is wild to me. Like, I really thought this would be like they girl boss too close to the sun and they found some fucking aliens out there.
We've got some really dumb scientists to talk about.
All right, let's go. Fire from the gods, baby.
In 2023, hey, that's now, Weyland was granted its first patent for method and apparatus for synthetic individuals. There's like a lot of patent talking.
Let's fucking go. Finally, we have all waited for living sex dolls and they finally showed up. I mean, some people are probably waiting for that. I personally don't want any of that, okay?
Don't worry about it. At a TED Talk, remember those? In March of that year, Peter Weyland drops the big news that they started making robots.
These rules exist because the people who created them were afraid of what would happen if they didn't.
A year later, in 2024, Weyland manufactured their first advanced android prototype model named David. Weyland welcomes David into this world by exposing him to a healthy dose of God complex and Christian iconography. Like Italian Renaissance painter Piero della Francesca's The Nativity, and Michelangelo's statue of David, where Robot David chooses his name from. This kind of...
Alright, that's fine. That's okay. Alright, you can show him nice art and stuff. What's wrong with that? I can't see that going wrong.
Feels like a setup by Weyland. I mean, like, what else was he supposed to call himself based off things in that room? Piano? Meet my son Piano.
Steinway.
The Japanese cybernetic startup, the Yutani Corporation, files a lawsuit against Weyland for the end of the android, which Weyland wins in litigation in 2029. Weyland starts buying up aerospace and defense companies like Boeing, Lockheed Martin, and Northrop Grumman in
Yeah, there's no way this could possibly get unethical. Am I right, guys? There's no way this could get unethical when the one fucking massive company that's so fucking rich starts buying up actual airspace companies and defense agencies. There's no way this could possibly go wrong, guys.
2032. And in 2034, Weyland unveils their first faster-than-light capable vessel, the Heliades, which is named after the daughters of the Titan god Helios and the ocean nymph Clemane. In 2039, the Weyland atmosphere processor is deployed to help create the first breathable atmosphere on an extrasolar planet. That tech will be used for decades to come throughout this franchise. We're gonna fast forward.
So what's the problem? Dude just seems pretty base, pretty nice. He had a pretty awesome robot. So this dude makes a robot, buys up all these companies, gets insanely fucking rich, finds other planets. Why would a god complex robot be evil?
Forward a few years to 2079 to say happy birthday to the 8th generation of David, the latest synthetic model produced by Weyland and powered by Verizon Fios. Remember that? That was dumb. David is the
Verizon powers the robot. Okay, all right. Not pre-watched.
The pride and joy of Peter Weyland, way more than his own daughter.
He is the...
That's fucked up. I'm telling you, like, that's actually insane. Can you imagine that? A dad caring about their work more than their family? Can you even imagine something like that? A parent that doesn't, like, appreciate you? What is this sci-fi shit?
The closest thing to a son I will ever have.
Bro has a daughter. Bro literally has a daughter and says that this robot is the closest thing to a son he'll ever have. Fuck, bro. Oh my god. Bro, the least realistic part of this movie is that she didn't immediately start an OnlyFans with daddy issues that hard. Oh my god.
Unfortunately, he's not human.
David was given
Rip, not human. Oh well.
the Titan classification, a connection back to Weyland's TED Talk in 2023.
The fire that danced at the end of that match
I really don't like the way this guy talks.
was a gift from the Titan Prometheus.
And very likely inspired by his mom's influence. Peter would pass along his supernormal obsession with gods to his synthetic son.
Oh my fucking god, he's such an idiot. Is he like actually a moron, or is he that freaking dumb that he thought that this couldn't backfire? He downloaded his god complex into an immortal robot? What? Oh my lord, this is the biggest L in the history of L's. I could see Elon Musk doing that. I'm not even gonna lie, I could see Elon Musk doing that shit. Just be like, this is my new son. He's so much better than my old son, who I don't like anymore because he's too woke. My new son is wonderful, and I will download my consciousness into him so that he could kill me and skinwalk in my place for the rest of time, becoming an evil fucking overlord, weaponizing Twitter to the masses.
Very smart thing to teach a super...
Did he forget the part of Greek mythology where the children of the Titans literally enslaved and killed the Titans and took their place? Guys, I did not watch Alien, but if this isn't paving the road for that shit, I will be mega surprised. See, if I was this guy and I would make a fucking robot person, I would be making a weaponized, mechanized cat girl robot, and it would be awesome, okay? It would be huge.
Supercomputer that can never die and also has hands. In April of 2079, multi-hyphenate Dr. Elizabeth Shaw sends one of what sounds like dozens of messages to Peter Weyland via some Yutani branded technology that feels very comfy.
If that name sounds familiar to you, it's because I've been calling your office every day for the last month.
She appeals to Peter...
Yeah, well, it does in fact look like she called a lot of times, now that you mention it.
Weyland's motivations to discover who created us and why, with an extra helping of optimism.
Oh, so he actually is trying to discover who God is, right? Not God, but who these engineer Giga Chad aliens are.
Most likely in the hopes that Weyland will offer some sort of assistance or funding for her project. Aside from Japan, India, and the United Kingdom forming the three-world empire in 2088, there's a gap of
Which countries?
India and the United Kingdom forming the three-world empire or funding for her project. Aside from Japan, India, and the United Kingdom...
Japan, India, and the United Kingdom. Ain't no way those are ever gonna be the three world superpowers. What? Get out of here! I'm just saying, that is the... if you would ask me, I would be like, I don't know, China, Russia, America, or something, maybe. But really?
Forming the three-world empire in 2088, there's a gap of about a decade in between this message from Shaw and her discovery of those cave paintings on the Isle of Skye in 2089.
You see, Japan's plan was to weaponize hentai. They've unleashed hentai on the world. All sorts of people, men in the United States, instead of getting married, instead of having children. You know what they're going to do? They are going to be addicted to hentai. They will no longer have children. The hentai woke mind virus is taking over and literally crippling the rest of the world, while the Japanese population... Well, isn't the Japanese population in decline right now? No, never mind. Bad theory. Hentai backfired. The hentai plan has failed.
Shaw makes this discovery with her scientific and life partner Charlie Holloway, who's not Tom Hardy. This cave painting matches 6 other various pieces of ancient art and architecture that depict large beings pointing to a series of circles, which is identified as the Zeta II Reticuli star system. Nice. This is apparently enough to get Weyland's attention because in 2091, Prometheus takes off for LV-223 with a crew of 17 and 1 hidden old guy. It seems like Shaw's optimism must have rubbed off on the old cajillionaire.
I think they want us to come and find them.
True! Me when I make a terrible decision.
January 7th, 2092 on the Olympia colony on...
Me on the first page of Pornhub.
Us to come and find them.
Me on the 4,794th page of Pornhub.
On January...
Not that I would ever go on Pornhub. I've never seen porn before. I've never watched it, never looked at it. Don't even know what they do in porn. What do they even do in porn? Is it just like movies except with less clothing or something? Is it like Twitch? I don't know. I've never porned before.
7th, 2092, on the Olympia colony on Earth's moon, Ellen Louise Ripley is born, and in 2093, construction of the USCSS Covenant begins.
All
that
right.
same year, after 2 years in
Covenant? Is that a Halo reference? That was a joke. I know I need to fucking do Halo lore. This has been one of the most highly requested shit of all time.
Prometheus arrives at LV-223, one of the 3 moves that are orbiting the gas giant Kalpamos, on December 21st, 2093. Shortly after arriving, the team discovers the remnants of structures the engineers left behind, along with their plans.
Ooh, it looks all alien-like.
Shortly after arriving, the team discovers the remnants
Look
of
at that, all alien-like. Oh, man.
structures the engineers left behind, along with their plans for humanity, one in stasis, one who didn't do enough cardio, and
one of the engineers just died? Rip.
The whole story.
Bro thinks he's MatPat. Oh, man.
Or remove that pathogen that
MatPat retired for Nux. Listen, after he retired, one person out there had to lie about not watching porn, okay? Okay, listen. Someone had to lie about not watching porn after MatPat left.
I've actually never looked at porn ever, like outside of.
Yeah, I will take that mantle, Matthew Patrick. I have also never watched porn before, okay?
that the tall guy chugged all those billions of years ago. They take the—
Wait, that's the same black goop. The black goop that killed the guy and infected the planet. Oh shit, oh shit.
enough cardio and a whole storeroom of that pathogen that the tall guy chugged all those billions of years ago. They take the severed engineer head back on the ship, which is just one of like a dozen stupid things this crew of dum-dums gets into.
Hey, you can't blame them. They're exploring. They see a decapitated head. What's the worst thing a decapitated head is gonna do?
Whole mission is like a dunce Olympics.
Hey, babe.
What's a decapitated head gonna do? Oh, that's the face-sucking, face-hugging, throat-fucking monster that we see in all the fucking promotional material is what—
All of these missions needed like one Waffle House employee on board and none of this would have happened.
True.
Like that lady who caught the chair. Like she, snatch it out of the air. Love her.
God
David learns
damn!
that the engineers were actually heading to Earth with the intent of
Oh my, dude, this is some Homelander shit. Look at his face. Oh, actual brain-dead crew. Literally brain-dead crew. Open themselves up to this fucking disaster. I mean, but they were researching. But you know, but whatever. You make mistakes. Oh well.
Destroying the planet. The specific reasons are a little muddy, but it seems like the engineers were not happy with the way humanity turned out.
I literally cannot understand why. I literally have no idea why. Like, why on earth would the engineers be upset with how humanity turned out? I think humanity turned out pretty well, honestly. Look at what's going on in the world now. World peace, no fighting, no wars. People aren't protesting for things because everything's just going so swimmingly in the world. A presidential election that's a wonderful democracy between two candidates that both definitely deserve the position. We got the employees at the Barnes & Noble's bookstores actually setting up the store to make the people happy. We got those guys making the monster fuckers. You know, honestly, now you never mind. I get it. You know, honestly, now that I think about it.
In an interview with Fandango back in 2012, and I'm paraphrasing here, Ridley Scott said that the engineers were constantly thinking about the Roman Empire and how humans had screwed everything up so bad they sent an emissary to Earth to tell them to straighten up and fly.
Bro, they're just like, everything's been downhill since the Roman Empire. It's been downhill since then, guys. Holy shit.
You're right, but they crucified him.
Bro, it was amazing. Holy, it's actually funny. I was talking to, okay, this conversation is gonna blow your mind. I was talking to my YouTube partner manager, okay, the guy that helps me out with my YouTube videos behind the scenes. So we were just talking, troubleshooting shit, and he said something along the lines of, it's like, dude, the Roman Empire, they had it all figured out. And I was like, you know, they destroyed Jerusalem, ransacked the temple, caused the Jews to go into exile, right? I'm such a fucking asshole. I'm such an asshole. He was dead silent. He was dead silent, and he was like, oh my God. I'm sorry. Whew. All right, moving on. Anyway.
Everything up so bad.
Okay, all right, I missed something. We go back.
The engineers were constantly thinking about the Roman Empire and how humans had screwed everything up so bad they sent an emissary to Earth to tell them to—
Wait, Fandango, you just throw religion and spirituality into the equation for Prometheus, though. It almost acts like a hand grenade. We had heard that it was scripted that the engineers were targeting our planet for destruction because we crucified one of their representatives. Wait, Jesus was canonically an alien in the Xenomorph lore? That's too good. Wait. We did. Then we thought it was a little too on the nose. But if you look at it as an our children are misbehaving down there scenario, there are moments where it looks like we've gone out of control, running around with armors and skirts, which of course would be the Roman Empire, and they were given a long run, 1,000 years before the disintegration actually started to happen, and you say, Let's send down one more of our emissaries to see if he can stop it. And guess what? They crucified him. Jesus was an engineer. Holy shit. Dude, that is based world building. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. That's awesome.
Straighten up and fly right, but they crucified him.
Oh my God, this literally looks exactly like Jesus in all the paintings. I'm just saying. Listen, I didn't want to be that guy. I didn't want to be that guy. This is not just a theory. This is not just a conspiracy. I'm just saying this is not a coincidence. Guys, listen up. Oh, God.
Heavily implying that Jesus Christ was actually an engineer, which is false.
Oh.
He was a carpenter.
Say that again with the big black cock behind you.
Not to rehash a movie that's over 10 years old that everyone already fought about for way too long, but a creator searching for their creator and then being killed by his creation by the creator's creator to only reveal that it's all nothing is kind of fun.
That is a fucking cool storyline. Like the idea that you want to be a creator, so you search for your creator and you make a creation, and you on your way to killing your creator get killed by your own creation, who was really just created by your creator. Like it's like a mind fuck, but it definitely works out very well. Like the whole concept of creating something that can supersede yourself at some point.
It's not subtle in any way, but it's fun. It's better than what's coming.
I gotta take a leak.
Peter Weyland reveals that he's actually been on board the Prometheus the whole time and demands to be brought to see the lone engineer that David found in the sleep sarcophagus.
All right.
After waking up, David...
And then it turns out that they woke him up and he looked at everyone and he was like, "Take me to Cadia!"
Speaks to the engineer.
If you get that reference, you're a fucking mad lad.
Here on Weyland's behalf, and the engineer responds by doing his best Al Snow impression and bonks Weyland off the timeline.
No! No way! I can't believe they killed that guy. That's so sad. He was such a good guy.
Captain Janik and the fellows stop the engineer from completing his trip to Earth. Shaw escapes the engineer thanks to the squid she had cut out of her body earlier in the movie.
Nice.
And we learn that Meredith Vickers can't turn left. Go that way, Shirley's. At the end of the day, the only ones left alive are Shaw and David, who says that he can take Shaw to meet the creators.
Bro, this is some fucking Homelander shit. Look at this guy's face. He looks like Homelander.
Yes, I believe I can.
The last transmission sent by the Doctor is on New Year's Day 2094.
My name is Elizabeth Shaw, last survivor of the Prometheus, and I'm still searching.
And then things get...
Oh my God. That literally is the actor. Wait, is that Anthony Starr? Anthony Starr. Did he actually play an alien? Father, son, number 2, after what was you there? I don't see him playing an alien. I don't see him playing an alien. Played in The Boys. Michael Fassbinder. Cool.
Shaw repairs David, and the two plot a course for the home planet of the engineers. David puts Shaw into the sleep coffin and then starts his plan to kill God, like Ilya Ivanov in the Soviet Union in the
I don't like this David character, not gonna lie.
1920s. So many
tried to make human ape hybrids.
His plan to kill God, like Ilya Ivanov in the Soviet Union in the 1920s.
The man who tried to make human ape hybrids. Nah, bro, guys, you have to understand. They caught this guy having sex with a monkey, and when they said, bro, that's fucked up. He was like, I am created for science. Dude, look at his name. Ilya Ivanovich Ivanov. God damn.
1920s. So many dead chimpanzees. There's no hard date about what transpired on board the ship before eventually arriving at the unknown home planet of the engineers at the most distant edge of the galaxy.
We were finally going to meet our creator.
Let's go.
How long?
Impossible to say.
The crowd on the planet below is super excited about the vessel returning after thousands of years away, but they're in for one big surprise.
Oh shit.
Weird Al Yankovic is on the plane.
No, anything but that. I've been walking most of my lives living in an Amish paradise.
Unfortunately, no. David opens the main hole and drops the pathogen payload onto the population below.
No! David had such a fucking god complex that he literally came to fucking chemical warfare, nuke a planet. He came here to unleash a pathogen on an innocent race of people? Actually just went and virus bombed a pacifist nation that created them 30,000 years ago or whatever? Oh my fucking God, that's awful.
This wipes out his creator's creators and transforms the entire environment and biology of the planet, which makes it look like spooky Tuscany.
Oh my God, that is one of the most tragic fucking moments in cinema history. Oh my fucking God. This David guy? Piece of shit. Oh my lord.
Shortly after this mass extinction is probably when David began his failed experiments on Shaw to turn her into Sarah Kerrigan, basically. And he also set up his own Mutter Museum. Back on Earth, the Weyland Corporation absorbs Yutani cybernetics and becomes...
I wonder if giving a god complex to a fucking sociopath immortal robot is a good idea.
...the highest valued company ever recorded on the Systems Exchange in 2099. Sometime shortly after that, the mega powerful conglomerate releases their newest model android, Walter. The Walter
David and Walter. Really good. What is these? Okay, all right.
models are more like robot butlers and not as independent as the David Model 8s, which
Incredibly based. I would make myself a robot butler, Catgirl. I'm just saying. Listen, if I could, I might. Walter, I want to have sex with you, Walter.
was probably a
That was not. I don't personally want to have sex with Walter, but Mike Ehrmantraut wants to have sex with Walter. You know what I'm saying?
Walter, put your dick away, Walter. I'm not having sex with you right now, Walter.
Walter, what are you doing, two finger?
Anyway, they cooked.
business decision after the most important David led his creator into a death trap and is somewhere out in space just making nightmares.
Oh,
You were too human, thinking for yourself. Made people uncomfortable.
According to
Made people uncomfortable? What the fuck?
Your constant harassment of the female gender makes me sick.
Proceeds to turn him into an eldritch alien fucking nightmare.
the Colonial Marines Technical Manual, the United States Colonial Marines Corps is established under the National Security Act of 2101, which just basically amends that the Marines fight on land, sea, air, and space now that off-world colonies are a common thing.
Nice.
And aliens too.
Aliens.
In the 2014 novel Sea of Sorrows by James A. Moore, there's mentions of mankind making contact with sentient alien life that
shit.
doesn't have a bloodlust for humans.
Oh shit, let's go!
By late 2100, Earth had established trade with an alien species called the Arcturians, who are mentioned in Aliens.
Sure wouldn't mind getting some more of that Arcturian.
Bro, they need to go to the Barnes & Noble's Hear Me Out section.
Yeah, the one that you had was male.
It doesn't matter when it's Arcturian.
It's not gay if it's Arcturian! Got him! Got him!
And Alan Dean Foster, author of the Alien novelization, name-checks their home planet as well. In 2101, the USCSS Nostromo, named after the 1904 Joseph Conrad novel, was constructed as an interstellar cruiser, but will be retrofitted 15 years later as a towing vessel.
Nice.
In 2103, the United Americas
Lore-accurate humans.
were formed after Central America and South America were swallowed by North America, essentially, and the Covenant colonization mission is announced. Despite a sabotage attempt by a revolutionary cell known as Earth Savers, the Covenant launch is successful, with 2,000 colonists and 1,140 embryos
It doesn't matter if you're the main character when you're going up against the billion-dollar company.
on ice, and an operating crew of 15, who we meet for a short moment before they enter hypersleep. In December of 2104, a stellar ignition damages Covenant and causes the crew to wake up 7 years before they reach their destination.
Oh, fuck. I hate when that happens. I hate when that happens! Every single space show does it. They go into cryostasis. They always wake up early.
The planet Origai 6. The crew also picks up a voice signal from a mysterious planet that never even popped up during the years of research to find an inhabitable new home.
It's beyond your most optimistic projections of Origai 6.
How did we miss this? We scanned the entire sector.
Despite the giant red flags raised by Chief Terraformist.
We search the sector. There are no living planets. They find a planet that's livable, that receives a message. After they all wake up from cryostasis 7 years early. Guys, this is not just red flags. This is Nightmare World. This is the start of every horror movie. Oh my god. Anyway, point is, I love the company. God bless the company. I will die to protect the company.
Catherine Daniels.
It's too good to be true.
Too good to be true? What do you mean?
The makeup. The clown makeup. What do you mean too good to be true? Sir, this is the Nightosphere.
Captain Chris Oram, an idiot, makes the brilliant decision to land on the ominous rock.
Oh my god, dude. Too good to be true. This is like when someone says, I have a fantastic investment opportunity to you. I have launched this new crypto coin, okay? Now, all you have to do is invest your life savings. We're taking minimum investments of $200,000. We will quadruple your money within 6 days. I'm sure you will.
Where they find nothing but death, and David, who has been growing out his roots. David reveals to Oram,
David! This piece of shit. No, I hate this guy now. God! Bro committed a xenocide like it was nothing.
that he's been working on his little hobbies for close to a decade, and then pulls off
his little hobbies. Fucking Nazi alien abominations.
easiest gotcha of all time.
Take a look.
Oh my god, is that space Onahole?
And then pulls off the easiest gotcha of all time.
Look at space glory hole over there.
Take a look.
Gotcha. That's a vagina, okay? Listen, that is a vagina. I mean, I've seen them before, and this is that, okay? I'm gonna pull up a picture of a vagina right now. This is the same fucking picture. This is the same picture. It's the same picture. It's the same fucking thing, okay? That's a vagina.
He's done nothing but lie to you the entire time since you've got there.
Is it even safe here?
How do you know what a vagina is? I used Shell Smash to increase my attack, special attack, and speed stat at the price of lowering my defense and special defense.
Perfect.
God damn!
Orem wakes up and quickly learns why sticking your head in a big wet egg is a terrible idea. After just a bloodbath of crew members, Daniels, Walter, and Kenny Powers successfully get off the cursed planet and return to Covenant and start charting a course back to Origai 6.
I can't believe this mission failed. I can't believe David would do something like this.
Unfortunately, David is great at impressions and trades places with Walter during their scuffle.
No,
he puts
Walter!
Daniels into cryo after revealing himself, relays a fake transmission that the Covenant crew died from a solar flare.
All crew members apart from Daniels in Tennessee tragically perished in a solar flare incident.
Yeah.
He then places 2 facehugger embryos in storage, and that's the last we see of.
Dude, these facehugger guys are scary as shit, right? Is that the one that I'm thinking of? Yep, those guys. Those are the ones. You know, honestly, I'm looking now at facehugger images that I will never share with anyone, and I will proceed to try my best to talk to a therapist to erase this experience from my mind. This was awful. I hated this. We move on.
David. For all we know, he's out on Origai 6 creating aliens and misquoting Shelley.
Byron.
Like Prometheus, Covenant has a lot of religious tones, themes, subtext, and lack thereof just thrown all over the movie.
Because you can't be a person of faith and be counted on to make qualified, rational decisions.
I know. I love those people. Oh, you believe in God? We can't trust you. Proceeds to make the biggest fuck up in the history of his life.
Writers who use subtext, and they're all cowards.
The leap from wanting to meet God to wanting to replace him through violence and science is a fun swing, Ridley.
Is it though? Is it though? I feel like that once someone has that level of hubris that they're like, I'm going to meet God. I'm going to tell him what to do. Between that and saying I want to become God, I feel like it's not such a big jump. Once you have that level of hubris, you are a piece of shit human. Pride is a killer. There's a reason why it's the leader of the 7 deadly sins.
What we have tried to do here is to really, really scare the shit out of people.
We don't know the fate of Covenant and its colonists, but the movie gave us 2 important things. 2 Fassbenders kissing.
Bow after seeing the facehugger. Hear me out. All right.
As we exit the post-Prometheus era of our timeline, we're just going to take a small break before we dive headfirst into the Ripley-verse, the film that started it all, Ridley Scott's Alien. Timeline-wise, there's no major events that we
the canonical order is not the same as the timeline order. Obviously.
Can find that happen
We're
between
getting to the first Alien movie soon.
The end of Covenant and the plight of the Nostromo. There's probably a ton going on behind the scenes in the expanded Alien universe as a whole, but nothing that earns a mention on our timeline in the 18 years between the 2 events. In 2120, the Nostromo departed Earth on what would become its final trip with a crew of 7. Captain Arthur Dallas, Warrant Officer Ellen Ripley, Thomas Kane, Joan Lambert, Dennis Parker, Samuel Brett, a secret synthetic named Ash, and Jones the Cat.
Dude, it's the original movie. I've seen like clips of this back in like the good old days in hotel rooms until my dad told me, hey, do not watch this. It gets gory.
After a stop off on Theta.
Looked up face hugging. It has 112 entries on Rule 34, boss. Chat, I did not ask you to do this. You don't have to like report back to me, okay? What the shit?
The Nostromo crew is woken up out of cryosleep after receiving an unknown distress signal while traveling by the Zeta 2 Reticuli star system. Despite multiple dissenting opinions, the crew of the Nostromo is contractually obligated to investigate the signal, otherwise they won't get paid.
They're literally Mr. Beast employees. I paid 100 fucking idiots to go to space and have sex with aliens.
Penalty of total forfeiture of shares.
And this is where
penalty of forfeiting your shares. Anything for pay, bro. Anything for some pay.
We learn one of the biggest lessons of the Alien franchise.
True. Don't exist in a world where your boss can force you to do unethical shit for payment. If your boss is gonna say anything ranging from visiting alien planets of unknown origins all the way across the timeline to we are locking you in solitary confinement for 11 days, none of that shit should stick, all right? $20 is $20. No, $20 is not $20, Chad.
Mother, the command system aboard the Nostromo, reroutes the ship and the crew lands on the moon LV-426, which is right next door to LV-223, give or take a couple million space miles. Soon after landing on the rock, which is not nearly as pretty as LV-223, Dallas, Kane, and Lambert discover an engineer ship that looks like it's been there since the first Easter, and it's just choked with xenomorph eggs. Just
oh my god.
Lousy with them. I know that Prometheus and Covenant working as prequels tosses a ton of events in Alien.
Yeah, that puts this in a completely different perspective. I imagine seeing this the first time, it's just like a what the fuck moment. But now that you know that it's the Easter eggs, Why am I calling it Easter eggs? Now you know that it's the eggs of this original species that was already wiped out by David in the past, that humanity has already interacted with this shit. It puts it in a whole different perspective.
Into a blender. Why was this fossilized engineer trapped on LV-426 instead of 223?
Sure, you'll ultimately have your questions and timeline issues, but it definitely throws the knowledge of the world into a completely different perspective. I like that. That's awesome.
Why was the ship filled with xenomorph eggs despite David being the creator of this species? And why is every person so compelled to be face down in danger eggs?
He hasn't gone to the Rule 34 like the people in my chat have.
We don't have any answers on...
Dude, the fucking facehuggers, they are everywhere. Ubiquitous. I've seen a clip of a facehugger putting a tentacle deep into a girl's throat with the quote from Tricky saying, "Okay, hear me out," and it scared me. Chat, could you stop doing research, please? This is my lore dive, okay? You can do your own shit on your free time. We are focusing on lore and lore only, okay? Chat, I have that site bookmarked. Chat, stop it!
On that front, so if you have a gripe with any of this, take it up with Ridley Scott.
F you, thank you very much. F you. Go
After some time in the med bay, Kane ruins everyone's lunch, and the crew is left to fend for itself against the Michael Jordan of movie monsters, which makes the Nostromo crew the 1995 Seattle Supersonics. Yeah, that works out. The crew gets picked off fairly quickly. Ash attempts to kill Ripley after she finds out Weyland-Yutani's plans for the creature, but they're a company that's really bad at making robots with strong necks.
Yikes!
This revelation from Ash shows that Weyland-Yutani, at least at this point of the timeline, has some kind of knowledge about xenomorphs.
Yeah, I think that's the major important point. It's like, despite the fact that this massive, huge mega corporation literally knows that this shit exists, okay? They know that these xenomorph creatures are around. They don't actually tell their people, probably because their people would not be willing to investigate. Okay, so they keep this shit hidden, knowing that it poses a threat to their lives, but also knowing that it's very likely that they will get absolutely murdered if they come across this shit. Like, it adds a whole level of evil to this company by hiding this information. And realistically, it is exactly what any good, big fucking mega corporation would probably do in order to keep the morale up and keep their employees working.
At least enough to know it exists, and that it's important enough from a business standpoint for them to sacrifice
money's just worth more than people, for according to some, I guess. I guess it's not as surprised.
The lives of 6 people and millions of pounds of resources to get it. Ripley and Jones make it aboard the escape shuttle.
There's a quote. It's a Bible verse, actually. You should love God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. Okay, why does it need to say with all your heart, your soul, and your might? A lot of people translate your might as your money, because some people like their money more than their soul, right? So the Bible knew about this stuff. I guess it's not a surprise that the megacorps follow the correct doctrine.
Narcissus, also named for a Joseph Conrad novel, and she launches the xenomorph into space with her signature move, opening the airlock. Ripley and Jones prepare to go into hypersleep.
It's the meta. It's the airlock meta. I flip my trap card. Opening the airlock. It works every time.
And she leaves a transmission regarding the fate of the Nostromo.
I should reach the frontier in about 6 weeks. With a little luck, the network will pick me up.
Nope.
Did the cat live? Please tell me the cat survived. Yes? Oh, thank God. I don't care about the other guys. Whatever. They could go fuck themselves.
As I mentioned at the top of this video, there are a lot of pieces of Alien media, especially novels and novelizations, and we're not going to dive too deep into them.
But I will do a deep dive on every individual xenomorph for after 10,000 likes.
2014 book Alien Out of Shadows by Tim Leben directly references Ripley and the Narcissus 37 years after she escapes the Nostromo and before she's discovered in Aliens. Long story short, Ripley's shuttle is hacked by Ash, who implanted his brain into the computer system, and then is taken to a mining ship called the Marion, where multiple mining crews have just also discovered xenomorphs. So Ash is like, yes please, give me, I'm all about it. Ripley gets caught up in a bloodbath and then is placed back in stasis and has her memory wiped by another character because she keeps having nightmares.
Well, that's one way to negate character development. Is it just me? Or is when modern Hollywood keeps saying, oh, we need strong female characters, is it just me, or is this a strong female character? I could be totally wrong, but in my opinion, this looks like a pretty badass female character, and I don't remember people complaining about that. So I guess it's not because everyone's a sexist when they complain that the Acolyte is dog shit.
Basically, Ripley didn't need to be in the book, especially when we know she's alive in Aliens 20 plus years from this point, but she's in it, so we figured we'd put it on the timeline. In 2157, a Weyland-Yutani terraforming colony was plopped on the surface of LV-426 and is named Hadley's Hope for its founder, Curtis Hadley, who is just some guy. 57 years after Ripley escapes on the Narcissus, her shuttle is discovered by a salvage crew who miraculously comes across her ship floating in deep space in 2179.
Wait, so they just fucking left her there? They just left her in a pod? They'll be like, someone will wake you eventually?
And it's really just blind luck that a deep salvage team found you when they did.
That is so painful to hear! Bro, they just left her there. Oh my god.
There's a few things we have to touch on here. Like, for starters, we find out that Ripley had a daughter named Amanda.
Amanda Ripley McLaren.
Who was born sometime in the year 2111 or 2112, even though the date of birth and date of death listed on her file makes absolutely no sense at all.
Bro. They just left it there for her child's entire life.
There's like a 59 in there,
Oopsie.
and she possibly died in 2120, despite Burke saying she died 2 years ago, or maybe that's just her Dave & Buster power card points.
And that was at the time of her death, which was 2 years ago.
Also, pixelated
Yeah, that
images
sucks.
are still a problem in 2179.
Yeah, true. True. Where's the new iPhone camera at?
The whole thing's a mess. And I know we're talking about Amanda Ripley years after the events of the video game Alien Isolation, which features her as a main character.
Wait, Alien Isolation is part of the canon? I didn't realize that was part of the canon at all. Okay.
It just doesn't really add anything here. I'm sorry. Also in Aliens, there's a quick mention of Hyperdyne Systems, the Synthetics Corporation.
Yeah, the Hyperdyne System's 128 too.
This is a James Cameron movie, but thankfully Hyperdyne and Cyberdyne have nothing to do with each other, which means the Terminator timeline will not show up on this list, which is for the best. Ripley gets dragged in front of a bunch of bureaucrats in car seats, where they berate her over loss of company property, strip her of her flight credentials, and ignore her warnings about the alien nest the Nostromo crew found on LV-426,
Nice.
which is how Ripley also learns about Hadley's Hope.
It's what we call a shake and bake colony.
How many are there? How many colonists?
I don't know, 60, maybe 70 families.
Weyland-Yutani most
Damn, holy shit. This is a whole ass community.
definitely knew about the existence of xenomorphs in some form before the Nostromo floated by LV-426, before they willingly sent dozens of families there in the hopes
This is the famous Kubrick shot?
of digging them up.
And it was wrong. It was a bad call, Ripley. It was a bad call.
Bad call.
Right.
These people are dead.
That is the most corporate gibberish I've ever heard in my life. This is like when Niji Sanji said it was negligible when they fired Doki Bird. It's like, yeah, it was a negligible loss. Bad call? You wiped out a community! Bad call. Yeah, but think of the tax write-off.
A mom-and-pop team of
damn.
surveyors under the direction of Carter Burke come across the engineer ship on the surface of LV-426, and things go about as well as you'd expect them to go. The movies don't
Much to our surprise, the face huggers kept hugging. There are a lot of them. They give great hugs, fantastic hugs, best hugs to ever do it.
show us how Hadley's Hope fell into chaos after the facehugger was brought back, but the 2-issue 1992 comic Aliens Newt's Tale by Mike Richardson and James Somerville gives us a look at how everything went to after Newt's father returned with a face full of alien. A few days after losing contact with Hadley's Hope,
it's like, honey, you cheated on me on the job. My throat was fucked by an alien. Yeah, but that's not still cheating, honey.
Rescue mission is put into effect, which Ripley reluctantly agrees to join to ensure the alien threat is stomped out for good.
But to wipe them out.
You have my word on it.
All right, I'm in.
And it
Most of you might die, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
rips.
Eat lead, filthy animal.
Get away from her, you bitch!
After things get fooped.
Damn, I can't believe that the sexists didn't like Captain Marvel being a strong female character. Yeah, it was the sexists that made the show bad.
Barred down on the colony, Ripley finds the Queen, torches a whole mess of eggs, plays some Steel Battalion,
Nice.
nukes LV-426 off
Nice.
the map, and
base xenobomb, base genobomb, base genocide, base fucking alien expungement. Let's go, let's fucking go.
launches the Queen out the goddamn airlock.
Oh, she really does do that every movie. Oh my god, it literally is her trap card. This is her fucking mirror force.
Ripley, Newt, Hicks, and both halves of Bishop go into hypersleep as the Sulaco, named after the ship in the novel Nostromo, heads to Earth, and everyone goes on to live a full and happy life.
Nice.
Nope.
No,
Turns out they're-
why, guy? Why do you have to keep torturing the same people? Can't you find more people to traumatize?
There was an alien egg stashed away on board somewhere, and like a flock of geese to Sully Sullenberger, it takes down the Sulaco. Unlike Sully, they don't stick their landing, and everyone besides Ripley perishes on the shores of
Ripley, let's freaking go!
Arena 161 very shortly after they escape LV-426.
Damn.
Like a few days, maybe a week. It's never confirmed, but it's like right then. Ripley's unconscious body is brought to Weyland-Yutani's Combo Industrial Smelting Factory.
Oh, let's fucking go. The capitalist fucking overlords. The billion-dollar corporation will save her.
Former correctional facility that's mostly populated by bald British character actors. Yes. And Charles S. Dutton, who's just throwing fastballs the whole movie.
You got a blade and you take it out and you fucking use it!
Shortly after watching Hicks and Newt get laid to rest Terminator style, a stray facehugger makes its way inside and then outside of an ox. Yeah. Or a dog, depending on which cut you're watching.
Yeah!
With Alien 3, there's two main cuts, the theatrical cut and the assembly cut that the film's editors put together with no involvement from director David Fincher, who hated working on the movie so much that he almost never talked about
That's amazing.
it until a very recent interview with Empire magazine, where he talks briefly about how horrible the experience was.
Damn. It's amazing to me that Fox is the #1 studio in the country because they're all such a bunch of morons.
Ripley takes a badly damaged Bishop offline, and the whole thing is just a huge bummer in a long list of bummers.
I'd rather be nothing.
An earlier version of the script,
if you say so. Damn, I would hate to be in this fucking universe. Oh, wait!
Was written by Neuromancer author William Gibson and was going to be more.
It is really interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I really like the idea that that you actually have like what would be the like obviously these aliens that are killing all these people are like the very present threat, like the very present bad guys. But the idea that the real villain is kind of the fucking egomaniacal god complex overlord CEO pieces of shit at the same time, like who's really to blame? The aliens that are, it's in their genes to fucking want to eat you and kill you? Or is it the people that are putting these people in positions purely for financial gain, but putting them in front, dangling them essentially as food to these aliens because ultimately they have money to make? Who's the real bad guy?
More focused on Hicks, who accidentally drifted into space and ended up in the middle of a conflict with space communists.
Space!
There was also a Vincent Ward script where Ripley ends up on a planet that's made entirely out of wood and is populated by monks immediately in. Just to add to the pile, Ripley finds out she's got a bug in her and decides to go hunting in the hopes of killing the Xenomorph loose in the facility, along with the future queen that's lurking inside her chest, and Weyland-Yutani is not happy about losing valuable property.
Classic! Classic! They're like, all right, guys, I understand there's an alien here trying to kill all of you, but at the same time, we really don't want to lose the property, okay? We want to do this in a cost-effective way! A cost-effective way, guys! There are some things more important than human life.
Ripley and the two remaining inmates give the alien a molten lead bath, just as Michael Bishop, the supposed real Bishop, and Weyland-Yutani goons arrive.
You're a droid. Same model as Bishop. Sent by the fucking company.
No, I'm not the Bishop android. I designed it. I'm very human.
I know he takes a metal pipe to the back of the head and just keeps holding a conversation with Ripley while like half his ear
holy shit
is hanging off, but based on everything I found, that's actually the real Bishop.
Oh my god! The machine costs more than you do, god damn it! It's like, bro, this is some fucking crazy Warhammer shit. It's like, listen, human life is replaceable. This amount of money is not. Oh my god.
He's the Jack Youngblood of corporate ghouls. Ripley ends the murderous monster cycle she's been trapped in by leaping into the furnace below, just as the Xenomorph Queen explodes out of her chest. Or that doesn't happen and she dies in the furnace below. Depends on which cut you're watching. But both results are the same.
Oh, holy shit. She actually sacrifices herself to kill the queen. God damn, what a fucking legendary character. What a crazy moment.
Ripley, the reluctant hero of these films, is
like when movies were good, question mark? When like the badass hero character at the end actually sacrifices themselves for the greater good, instead of just recognizing that they are in fact perfect all along and are the chosen one and survive and save the day somehow.
Finally able to rest in peace. Nope.
What? What? No, 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 please stay dead. Please stay dead.
We're coming to the end of our run here. There's a few events that fill in the big-ass gap between when Ripley pulled a Harry Nilsson and when we climb aboard the USM Auriga for its final mission.
No.
In 2202, the United Americas, along with the three-world empire, China, and 4 independent core system colonies, form the United Systems. 24 years later, the United Colonial Marines get a name change to the United Systems Military in 2226. In 2291, Weyland-Yutani was successfully sued for independence by the new Indy colony.
Let's go! All it took was, what, how many war crimes and xenobombings and genocides until they actually got sued?
I can't find any information on what the lawsuit was about or about New Indy in general, so if you know something about it, please leave it in the comments. 2 years later, Weyland-Yutani takes another hit when rival company Ridton puts a more advanced FTL drive on the market.
Bro, you know what injured this company? It wasn't the ethical shit. You know why this company is under fire right now and it's actually taking L's? You probably think, because they sent their employees to die, because they fucking caused the death of an entire alien species, because an entire colony that they created was fucking murdered due to their negligence. Nope, because there is another company that has better technology than they have. That's why this company is actually eating dirt right now. That is the most realistic and sadly somber thing I've ever heard.
Causes the USM to sign contracts with Ridton, and they throw Weyland-Yutani in the trash. In 2306, artificial persons from the Althea Collective were given civil rights.
Civil rights to the AI. Let's go. We knew that was happening.
Every cybernetics division across the stars took a massive hit to their wallets.
See, in my humble opinion on the human rights tier list, as we all know, I do have a human rights tier list. So in S tier, of course, there's children. Children have the epitome of human rights. No one has human rights on the same level as children. A is just like your average person. In A tier, you got your average people with human rights. In B tier, that is when you have like AI that actually has full sentience. I think it gets B tier human rights. And then C tier is politicians and D tier is game journalists. Now that we have it all settled, let's keep going.
Now that sins can't be treated like tools anymore. We don't have a hard date for this next spot, but sometime after 2349, Weyland-Yutani, after becoming the massive conglomerate that gave humanity power to reach the stars in one super rich weirdo's hopes of meeting God, they're bought out by Walmart.
No. He's joking. Like the Walmart of this world, right? Like not Walmart. It's yes, this is a super corrupt company that fucking did a xenocide and tried to meet God and accidentally created someone who thought they were God. But we're gonna buy them anyway because it's a good investment.
Well, they went under decades ago. Get them in way before your time. Bought out by Walmart.
Oh my fucking God. He's not even joking. In the actual lore, they were bought out by Walmart. How the fuck is Walmart still around in 2300? Ain't no fucking way. And the Mr. Beast ghost kitchens started really working together with Walmart on this one. What the huh?
Walmart.
Walter.
In 2350.
I can't believe that. That's crazy. Walmart W, I guess. I guess Walmart doesn't care who they're acquiring in order to keep their name afloat.
6. The USM secured blood samples of Ellen Ripley that were taken on Fury 161.
No.
We'll get back to that in just a minute.
No! No! They bring her back to life with the tech shit?
20 years later, in a desperate attempt to save the synthetic persons industry, the first Autons were manufactured in 2376. Autons, who are more or less the children of synthetics, did not last very long. In the 24th century, these second-generation synths violently rebelled against their creators in an event called the Recall.
The Recall? Like it's a broken car, but it's actually just an AI apocalypse revolution. It's just the days of strife.
Sometime in 2379.
Age of strife, the war in the sky, or whatever the Warhammer shit was talking about.
During the Recall, Autons burned their modems to cut their connections to the United Systems computer, which had been used to guide or reprogram previous model synthetics. The word around space is Autons revolted because
they didn't like being told what to do.
No shit, they were slaves. Big surprise, the slaves actually didn't like being slaves. This was a big twist to slave owners everywhere.
What had actually happened was the Autons realized that creators like Weyland-Yutani were using synthetics for unethical missions that would ultimately harm humans.
Oh shit, they were actually ethical all along, oh my God.
It's like the song Goodbye Earl, but Earl is the blood-powered cogs of the military-industrial complex, and Wanda is humanity. Most of the Autons were destroyed, and the few remained.
You mean to tell me that the big companies were using robots in ways that were unethical not only to robots, but also unethical to humans? The reason why I don't believe that is because big, major, giant corporations actually put human ethics above everything, even profits. YouTube, please don't remove this video for misinformation.
Remaining survivors fled into hiding.
I'm on your side, YouTube. In fact, please monetize this video.
In 2381, the USM Auriga successfully produces a clone of Ellen Ripley using her blood samples from Furiona 160.
Yes. As we know, all clones grow in tubes covering their boobs. This is a known thing. It is a known fact, and I appreciate that fact of science.
One, thanks to their science team made up of every.
What is this guy having sex with an alien? Is this Bao? Are we looking at your average VTuber talking about how they want to have sex with Venom right now? Like, what is going on in this scene?
Your weird guy in your office.
Wait, is this actually what's going on? Is he actually having this weird dream here? What?
From The clone is designated as 8 and the Xenomorph Queen, which was...
Everyone in chat is spamming wood right now. Oh Lord, give me a different fan base, please. Can I trade these guys for like football fans? No, I'm kidding. Yeah, you guys are great. I appreciate you guys.
Also,
fanboy Xenomorphs? Okay, go away.
Constructed from her DNA, is extracted and boxed up. Ripley 8 starts to recall Ellen's memories, along with her love for and1 basketball. She's got super clone strength, acid blood, cool weird claws, and a Shadow the Hedgehog attitude.
Who do I have to get off this boat?
Oh my god, that is some Shadow the Hedgehog attitude. Bro, have you seen the new Shadow the Hedgehog trailer? It's actually pretty fire. See, in the new Shadow the Hedgehog trailer, he has a very similar line. Here, look at this.
Give me back my passport! Why do you want to go to Mexico?
I just love Latinas, Sonic. What? Adios, amigo.
Yeah, this was in the very critically acclaimed new trailer to the Sonic movie.
The USM is clearly working outside of the regulations of space law, and that's even more obvious when a batch of alien sacrifices are delivered by a gang of pirates, including French character actor Dominic Pignon.
Who are you expecting, Santa Claus?
Love that guy. Eggs hatch, Xenomorphs escape, Cher's dad bites it, and the few survivors left on board learn that the ship has activated its emergency protocol.
Oh my fucking god. It's not a good day without any alien sacrifices.
And is on a direct route back to Earth.
Earth, man. What a shithole.
Oh, and we learned that when
Real, bro. And suddenly human lore actually converged with alien lore. IRL lore and alien lore became one and the same in that moment.
Is one of the Autons that escaped the recall. On their way to the ship, the Betty, Ripley 8 stumbles across the lab where Ripley's 1 through 7 are being kept, and Ripley 8, Cronin burns the thing to the ground.
Nice.
Chekhov's chest burster finally goes off, and the worm is gunned down Murphy style. There's a couple whispers of RoboCop in this movie, actually.
The potential for this species goes way beyond urban pacification.
209 is currently programmed for urban pacification.
Bro, that's the same word!
But that is only the beginning.
Before they can jet off to safety, Ripley the 8th gets a face-to-face meeting with the Xenomorph Queen they cut out of her at the start, and we all meet...
No, it's the same queen that she sacrificed herself for?
This thing. The hybrid creature takes a look...
I can fix him.
Look around for about 5 seconds before it gets sick of the place, and after it crushes a few heads, it's turned into cosmic gumbo by Ripley Ocho.
Did they open the fucking airlock again?
The Auriga, along with the hive of Xenomorph eggs on board, crashes super hard into Earth. Again, depending on which version you're watching, the endings are different, but mostly just in vibes. The theatrical version shows the crew reaching Earth and flying over a lush and beautiful landscape that kind of looks like a good screensaver. In the special edition of the film, however, we see Ripley 8 and Winona Bot sitting on a trash heap overlooking Paris after a weekend riot.
God damn!
All
the white flags in the world didn't save the Eiffel Tower for this one.
Regardless of which one you prefer, they both end with the same line.
I'm a stranger here myself.
And that's where it ends, at least our version. A vast timeline of terror, gore, heroism, horny robots, and late stage capitalism.
Let's fucking go. That was a really good video. That was really well put together. It's an honestly interesting time.
I know there's so much media out there that orbits these 6 films, and your timeline is very likely different from ours. If it is, please tell me what I missed.
All right, I want to do a lore dive into every different species of Xenomorph. You know me, I love the different ecology of different fantasy and sci-fi worlds. So I am curious about doing that shit. That's 1. And 2, this was a banger. Bro, actually, he killed it. Nerdist put a very well put together, comprehensive look at this shit. Where am I putting it on the lore tier list? I'll probably put it in B tier for now. Honestly, when it comes to sci-fi, this is much more focused on the narrative and, no, I'm not doing a Smash or Pass video. Shut up, chat. But ultimately, the idea of like some god creator race that are the ones that really created humanity, and then humanity eventually created what it was that destroyed them. The concept of these aliens and xenomorphs seem a lot more more like some kind of spatial threat than a much more interesting insight into what may exist in the lore of this world. I guess the most accurate and hard-hitting part is the idea that late-stage capitalism and late-stage cancer don't have the same initials as a coincidence. Obviously, human life becomes a lot less important the more power hungry and greedy the fucking CEO overlords are at the top of the food chain. And I do like what they did in that regard. I would just go as far as to say that the lore itself didn't fucking strike me hard enough to move past B tier. So I'm gonna say B tier for now. I might end up moving it down to C tier as we keep going, depending on what I see. But this is just my initial thoughts. It's definitely an interesting franchise. It's definitely an interesting way to see what could become of humanity. And the aliens are literally the least interesting part, from what I understand. For me, it's definitely the CEO ideology, fucking bullshit, human life becoming worthless in the grand scheme of things. That definitely stands out to me as much more of a focus here. Whereas the alien threat are just, you could basically replace it with any random fucking predator life form out there and it would kind of be the same. But all in all, interesting shit. I do appreciate it. It was a good lore dive. We will consume all lore, so more lore dives are to come. Thank you for being here. And remember, don't look up facehuggers on Rule 34. Guys, I'm telling you, I've never done it. I've never seen porn before, but from the people that have seen porn, those guys say that it's crazy out there. So stay weird, fam. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.